Today we're going to go through correlation and linear regression on the calculator. So the first thing you need to do is make sure your diagnostics are on. To do that, go to Mode, and then if you look down on your list, it should say Stat Diagnostics. Make sure they are on. If they are off, just go down and click on to turn them on. Next step is to go to the Stat button, edit, enter your data, your explanatory, your X variable into list 2, your response variable, your Y into list 2, X variable in list 1, Y variable in list 2. Then, to make a scatter plot of that data, you can go to second Y equals the stat plot menu, click enter on it, and then make sure it's turned on. This first one is going to be your scatter plot. Make sure your X list is list 1, and if you need to change your Y list like I do, second to any number will get the list. So second 2 gave me list 2. If I hit graph, I don't see anything. Zoom stat is what we tend to use in this class. So there is the scatter plot of my data. So now if I want to find that least squares regression line and correlation, I go to stat, I go over to calculate. Now there are two linear regression functions, linear regression ax plus b and a plus bx. Either one is going to give you the same values. Just you notice a in this one is the slope, b is the y-intercept. In this one, a is the y-intercept and b is the slope. Your book uses this formula, so that's the one I'm going to use. Make sure your X list and Y list match up with whatever list you put the data in. Generally, we don't have a frequency list. If you want to store the regression equation into Y equals, you can do that if you click the vars button, go over to Y variables, Y vars, and if we want to store it in Y1, and click enter there, that'll automatically store the equation of the line into Y1. So if I go to calculate, here's what you should see. You should see your y-intercept, your a value, your slope, your b value, r squared, and r. So 0.9 for r, there is a strong positive correlation between the points. So that's what linear regression will tell you. Now if you go back to your graph, because you stored the equation into your y variables, it put that line in there for you. So there is your least squares regression line. Now if you want to find the residuals, you can either do them all by hand, do the actual minus predicted. That would probably take a little while. If you highlight list 3, then go to second stat, you should see at the bottom something that says resid. If you click that, it's going to fill in list 3 with your residuals of the data. So if you notice the first one, the actual point was below. Second one, actual point was above. All right, so that's how you find the residuals. If you want to make a residual plot, now that you have your list of residuals, you can go into your stat plot. And now remember, your residual plot is going to graph your original x's, which are stored in list 1. But now your Y list needs to be your residuals, which is list 3. If you go to graph, you're just going to see the line at this point. You might want to turn off that line. Go to graph, then zoom stat, zoom 9. So there is your residual plot.